FreeMMOStation.com.
Hey, what's going on, Station? I'm Sky, bringing you my first impressions of the massively popular game from Jagex, RuneScape. So yeah, little do people know that there used to actually be a 2D RuneScape. Then, the 3D game came that we all have come to know and love, and now, with the engine update, we really can consider this the trilogy, RuneScape Trace 3. So, though, to be honest, really it's just an overhaul. Accounts and most of the mechanics are completely carried over, and the big difference, really, is in the graphics and the physics. Though, while RuneScape really doesn't have physics, now, with the new update to the engine, anything is really possible with the future of the game, and that's what makes it really so exciting for everyone involved. RuneScape is now essentially in beta, and we'll be going through some massive changes, especially considering like a year's time. But this review will really focus on what they have going on right this moment. And also, you can play the RuneScape 3 version with the engine, or you can actually go back and play the RuneScape 2, which is the normal RuneScape. So you can play both at the same time. Anyways, first, I really appreciate the story and the quest content. So right off the bat, you start on an island, you have this sort of tutorial, story-driven content, cinematics, all that. And then as you get to the mainland, you are sort of streamlined through a couple of quests that actually have very, very good content. And it annoys. In fact, I have always loved the questing in this game all over MMOs I have ever played since then. And that's right, I love RuneScape's quests so much that I consider it higher than any other games. They're funny, they're smart, some are really difficult, and all of them have a character and experience that you're gonna remember. So now, there are cinematics and cutscenes, though they are very cheesy. It actually fits well with the RuneScape theme. The graphics are a bit better, but really, they're just as harsh as ever. It's almost an art style if you think about it though. So later on, because of the new engine, graphics could change pretty much 360 degrees from what they are now, and new effects could pretty much potentially just come into play easily. Already we see some, like bloom, and also there's increased draw distance. However, this is going to take a toll on PCs more than it should. During my gameplay, that's what I felt, especially if you are playing on the browser section of the game. Luckily, you can download the game to your PC, and I experienced slight frame improvements from doing that, but really, the game kind of runs a little bit more choppy than it should for how it looks. Anyways, the UI is more customizable than before, but I have to admit that it's a bit more cluttered than... It's a bit more cluttered when it comes to the new quest system. Honestly, I do like the new quest system for many reasons, but I really preferred when everything was simpler. I prefer simpler things, period, especially when it comes to UI. But luckily, you know, RuneScape isn't as bad as many other free-to-play games, but a lot of people really do feel the same way as I do, and they admit that the original RuneScape was a little bit cleaner. And what's really cool is that you can actually go and play that RuneScape still, while 3 is in beta. Hopefully, they'll get a nice mesh of the two, and as things move along, as it comes out of beta, everything will be a little bit more smooth. Anyway, so one thing that you will notice about the UI, different from before, is the addition of a action bar. So, you can now cast abilities which increase the skill level and the skill ceiling of the game dramatically. It did make fighting more strategic, and I had a better time than simply auto-attacking, but RuneScape is still very clunky feeling and is in no way near League of Legends level of character control, sadly. For the most part, it is still the same game many players loved so long ago, but with just a bit more production than before, and infinitely more potential. If you ever thought of revisiting this game, now would be a great time. RuneScape always had such an open-ended design, and now with player influence being bigger than it ever was before, we could see a great and innovative things come out of a game that should have died and could have died long ago. For the most part, it is the same game now. You can still level everything in order you want to, and through the start of the game, do whatever you want. The game is a bit more streamlined at the very start, but it is far more eventful from the mid to late game, and even in the start with the cinematics and everything. It actually has a really nice feel. Lots of character all throughout this game. Trading is also very big now, and with more and more to be added to the game, I can really see this game economy growing with its population. And yes, it's still growing. It is an old game, but absolutely in every way, it's still growing. So if you're a fan of humor, crafting, trading, and social game design, then I recommend you looking at RuneScape 3. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky Shore with FreeMMOStation, and I'll see you guys later.